toxic masculinity.
Sounds good. You want to read comments and questions?
I do not.
All right.
I'm kidding.
News is over. News is over. We're going to read your comments and questions. If you have anything to say about this, please let us know. I'm curious as to what you guys have to say about this. We've mostly been covering this very specific thing, but if you guys want to bring up something else, feel free to. But I'm curious what you guys think about this. It looks like we've got quite a few statements already. People have said something. Do you want me to start, or do you want to? What do you got? What do you got?
Well, the first super chat was from Frank Kerr. Yeah, I think that's the first super chat. Yeah, MD and.
Okay, you want me to read it? Or you want to read it?
You can read it.
Okay, Maryland and Virginia states gave territory to establish the capital in D.C. If it becomes a state, those states deserve their territory back. How did they did not give up that land to create a new state? You know, it's I actually saw somebody create like a gerrymandered border around like all the state like all the different federal buildings. Mm-hmm. And they said, okay, we'll give all the rest of the DC land back to Maryland and Virginia, and just the federal buildings will be Washington, D.C., where nobody lives because there's no residences. And that'll answer the question. And I thought that was a perfectly valid solution. I'm like, yeah, put the citizens back in those states if they so desperately want senators. So thank you, Frank Carr. That's a good suggestion. Renee Miete? I don't know how to pronounce your name, man. Well, he's French. I know that. He says, decentralized DC. It's already too bloated. It eats bread for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Decentralized DC. I don't quite understand that comment. Do you understand that comment?
No.
Decentralized DC.
That's why I asked you to read that.
Okay. I don't quite know what you mean, man. But I think I like the sentiment. Let's hear. Frank Carr. Also, Amendment 23 says D.C. is not a state. Well, that's right. I mean, that's the amendment that talks about D.C. establishes it as a territory there, not to be made as a state. So to take an amendment to make it one, it's also entitled to use as many votes as the least populous state. It cannot then logically be a state. Yeah, I mean, they set it up in a specific way. If you want to live in D.C., you can live in D.C. Nobody has a problem with you living in D.C. But if you want a senator, live somewhere else. I mean, D.C. is expensive anyway. Why do people want to live in D.C.? I've been to D.C. a couple of times. The parts where the federal buildings are really nice and clean, but if you step out of there, it's crime-ridden, it's ugly, it's nasty. You don't want to live in D.C.
So mean to me.
I'm mean to you?
No, this guy.
What do you say?
Anonymous. I want Valeria to do a video just of her reading words she has trouble pronouncing.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the fun of the show. I think part of your charm is your accent, and you struggle a couple of with certain words.
Couple 100,000 words.
Well, I do too, and I'm.
Well, you just told
I'm
her.
pretty verbose. I'm just an idiot.
Just
Let's see here.
funny.
All right, we got one from Rico USA. You want to read that?
Yes.
Go for it. We'll give Anonymous his what he asked for.
Okay. I feel like we are heading toward a future world that looks a lot like the movie Escape from New York, featuring Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken.
Yeah. I love that movie. I actually only saw that movie for the first time last year, and it's instantly one of my favorite movies of all time. It's such a good film.
Nice.
It's so good. It's very 80s. Like it is. I think it's a different experience watching it now than you would have had in the 80s. I think in the 80s it would have been a much more powerful experience. Now it's a little bit more. It's got the charm of the kind of 80s camp that normally I don't like, but in that movie it's actually a very good story. I don't know about Escape from LA. Everybody says that movie's trash, but I haven't seen that one. I think he surfs in Escape from LA, but I haven't seen that. But Snake Plissken, man, that is such a good movie. Let's see here. Frank Carr says federal cops never end up in these stories, only local cops. After Chauvin, Biden gives a speech announcing an audit of Minneapolis police. Clearly, this is a campaign to federalize policing. Yeah, I don't really understand why nobody's reporting on the case of the officer that killed Ashley Babbitt. That is a much more egregious thing. But it is a black cop killing a white woman, and so nobody even talks about it. It's terrible. It's terrible because she really did nothing wrong. I mean, every one of these cases of a black person being killed by a white cop, they've committed a crime. They've done something wrong. They're trying to evade police, something like that. Obviously, with George Floyd, he died of a drug overdose. But in the case of Ashley Babbitt, she was like, what, crawling through a window that somebody else broke? And she was this horrible threat that needed to be killed. She needed to be murdered. No, come on. They need to investigate what happened there, and they need to talk about it. I mean, if anybody should be tried for murder as a cop for killing somebody, it should be that Capitol Police officer. And I think that Frank James is right. I think they may be trying to federalize police to some degree. What he means by that is they want federal control of. I mean, they want federal control of everything. They want centralized control of everything. They want communism is what they want. Frank James also says, need positive news night for Valeria's sake.
Yeah, 100%.
That's true. Audit the FBI, says Rudd Elgin. Or Eigen? Eigen. Yeah, I mean, the FBI and even the CIA, the intelligence agencies, NSA, I'm not sure how much we can trust them anymore at all. I feel like these people don't have the American interest at heart anymore. I think they have way too much control in the federal government. If you watch, there's an interview that I posted with the CEO of Overstock.com. His name is Patrick something. What's his last name? Patrick something. I can't remember his last name. Somebody will write it in the comments. And this guy, he's got the craziest story I've ever heard. And actually, a friend of mine just called me that, and he works with him. And he said, oh, yeah, that guy's one of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life. You can give him a date, like give him your birthday, for instance, and he'll tell you like every famous person that was born on that day, all the amazing things that happened on that day. Like he's got like a photographic memory or something like that. He's got this he's like a genius. What's that guy's name? Overstock CEO. He quit, actually. Patrick Byrne is his name. You don't get much more Irish than that. But anyway, Patrick Byrne did this interview that I posted. I didn't comment on it. I just posted the interview on my channel. And he explains that the FBI approached him to wear a wire and to introduce Hillary Clinton to, I think it was a Saudi investor or something like that. And the Saudi investor was going to bribe Hillary Clinton, or it might have been an Iranian or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. Was going to bribe Hillary Clinton for millions of dollars if she would, be a little bit more, work with them a little bit more positively, or how they wanted, as, what was she, the Secretary of State? This is a woman back when she was Secretary of State. And so they're bribing Hillary Clinton. And this was a sting operation set up by the FBI. Patrick Byrne was involved. He wore a wire. He said that he got this recorded. And he says that once he had got this dirt on Hillary Clinton, he gave it to the FBI, and they now had dirt on Hillary Clinton. He expected that they would arrest her and put her in prison for this, because this is obviously illegal. And when he approached them afterwards and asked about it, they said, oh, no. We're going to use this information. We're going to make sure she gets elected in 2016, and she's going to be president for 8 years, and we're going to have control over her.
Wow.
And what he said was that Barack Obama was going to wield, was going to actually be the one controlling things. But I don't know how true that was. But the idea was that the FBI was going to then control the president. So I don't know how much of that is true, but it seems like if you were going to pick somebody to control, somebody that was compromised, that you could control and put into the presidency, Joe Biden is just about as perfect as you can get.
100%.
So I don't know how much control the intelligence agencies have over what's going on in the country right now, but I think it's quite a lot more than it needs to be. But then I don't know why intelligence agencies would want to push these, like this Green New Deal crap, this environmental legislation, and push money into the hands of these companies that are invested in green energy. And I don't really know why
there is a process. Of course, always in downtown LA process. They are climate change people, because my friend was shooting stories from her building. She lives up there. And they close the street, don't let any cars, in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And I texting her like, are they gonna, if they're climate change people, are they gonna allow Teslas and Priuses go through? If it's the case, I'll say my Hyundai is a hybrid
Right,
and I
right,
can drive.
right.
Like
We should get a bumper sticker that says "My
every,
other car's a hybrid," so that people think we're good
so
people.
it's like, guys.
Hey, did you order those bumper stickers?
No, I didn't.
Somebody gave you money for bumper stickers.
I know. I don't know which one should I get, American flag or Blue Lives Matter, because Blue Lives Matter, I mean, my car's going to be destroyed, but I can use my insurance. I feel like so
Well,
bad
get
that I
both.
pay so much.
Get both.
You joking?
Okay, get the American flag.
American flag.
Yeah. I was against it before because I didn't want to get a car busted up and I didn't want her to be targeted. But yeah, well, we have a garage.
We do, but sometimes I park car somewhere if I don't know.
Somebody in our building, because we don't live in like the most beautiful building. I mean, we live in an old building.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not amazing. But so there's a lot of relatively low income people that live on the lower floors. But somebody in our building has an I-8 because parked sort of catty corner from us. There's a friggin' I-8. And every time I pass by it, I'm jealous. But I think it's because some of the people that live in my building are drug dealers. And that's not like a joke. That's what I understand from talking to security here. Like some of the people who like live on the top floors in the penthouse and stuff are drug dealers, you know. They're like, and they have hundreds of thousands of dollars because they're drug dealers and they have like nice cars and crap. Anyway, let's see here. Frank James did say something else. He said the left attacks the cop for stopping a stabbing. That's outrageous to me. Maybe they should hold back and let shooters loose in schools. They're beyond ignorant. It's almost evil. I don't think it's almost evil. I think it's straight up evil. Kiwana Hurt says FBI and CIA dream of being Nazi SS or communist KGB agents. Don't make me read stuff like that on my show. I don't want this demonetized. Let's see. Germany in the 1930s or Russia in the 1980s. I think that's what you mean. Let's see here. Cover the entire car in flag stickers. Yeah, should we get a wrap? We should get a wrap. I designed a wrap once. There was some kind of a conference in New York or Chicago or something. It was like a fashion thing, a fashion conference, something like that. And I used to work for a fashion company designing hats. I would design hats. That was like a job I had for a while. And the guy who owned the company was like, can you design me a wrap for a car? Because this particular conference has a contest with all the people who buy booths, and you can all submit a wrap for a car, and they'll wrap this car. So it was like a nice car. We'll wrap this car in whatever your design is, whoever wins the design contest. And he had two designs that he wanted me to do. One was impossible. It was like really, really, really difficult. He wanted me to do it in leather, which meant that I had to make the seams match the car's dimensions, which is fine, except leather is kind of a difficult thing to Photoshop because you need to get the seams right and you need to get the leather. And the thing was, he wanted the leather to look very fine. And you would have had to blow the leather up really big, and then it looked kind of digitally, so you had to get really good pictures. And it just took a long time. I was experimenting with different leather textures. It took me forever. The other thing he wanted was just flames, and that was much easier. So I did the flames one, and I did the leather one, but the leather wasn't done in time, and he was really pissed off, and he was like yelling at me. And I'm like, dude, do not talk to me like that ever again, because I will just work for somebody else and like screw you. And he was like, okay, I'm sorry, that was out of line. And then he won the contest, and he got his logo on this car, and you know, and helped his company quite a bit. That company died eventually. It didn't do well. But I had hats in like Bloomingdale's and stuff. That was quite a fun job. That's actually cool. He was actually all right, despite the fact that he kind of lost his temper once. That's one of my many jobs I've had. I've had hundreds, ladies and gentlemen. Before I did YouTube, I had a gazillion other jobs. I've worked for major film studios. I've worked on a children's show. I worked in fashion. I've done all kinds of things. I've valeted cars. Weirdly, some of my like crappiest, like low income jobs, like valeting, they're some of my favorite experiences in my life. But and then some of the higher end jobs, I don't know. Anyway, interesting stuff. Darling, do you have anything to say?
No, do you want to read the next question? Your comment
From Jeff Beal, you mean?
from
Well, let me read this one. He
Frank.
says, get a sticker that says BLM Blue Lives Matter in smaller writing. It's like they'll cheer until they get close. Then it's like a kick in the dick. It looks like it says Black Lives Matter, but it's Blue Lives Matter. That's funny, man. We should do that. They're like, yeah, Black Lives. Wait, what? Yeah, that'll probably get a shot.
I'll think about that.
Is there another comment you wanted to read?
Yeah, it's from Frank Care. How do you pronounce it? Care or Car?
Car, yes.
Car. Did you hear about this? Federal cops never end up in these stories, only local cops. After Chauvin, Biden gave a special announcing an audit of Minneapolis police. Clearly, this is a campaign to federalize policing.
Yeah, I would read that, except I already read it.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
But
Because
thank
you
you,
like
Frank Carr.
read like random super chats. I keep in track on them,
Yeah.
and you start reading, and I was like, I don't know which one.
Yeah. Anyway, I read
know,
that one.
You
but
mess things up.
somebody's asking if we're married. Yes, we're married. We're married. We were married a couple years ago. We actually been married the entire time I've had my YouTube channel. Almost. We got married very early on, but I used to call her my girlfriend because I don't know. I didn't think it was something I wanted to be public. I was just like, I don't know. I was fine with just what? What are you looking at me like
Next
that for?
comment.
Yeah.
From Frank James. Need a positive news right for Valerie say, you read this too.
Yeah,
Chris, stop reading super chat. You know we read them at the end of the show.
I read them at the end of the show. What are you talking about? I just read.
You read them from the end. I have from the beginning. Chris,
I'm not sure that's true.
What are you doing?
I don't know what you're
What are you
talking
doing? Why did you do this to me?
I don't know. I like to make you look stupid. Uh-oh. The little octopus got... Oh, that wasn't even close. That was a terrible throw. I can't even reach that. Oh, no. It's chapstick. You crazy woman. You're going to get that, by the way, because that's back behind the thing. All right. I think... Oh, no. More attacks? Oh, no. This is a delay. I thought you were throwing something else. Okay, shall we end the show with domestic violence? I think that was quite fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Tune in every weekday for more domestic violence. I am toxic. She is masculine. Together we are toxic masculinity. The most unprofessional show on YouTube. All right. I guess that's it. You want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Toxic masculinity.